What's up guys, Killer Cody Gaming here, back at it again with another Paragon video. Today we're going to be looking at another Serath deck. It is an update to my previous Welcome to the Jungle deck. I've already given it one update, but recently I got back into Paragon. There's been a big change as far as jungle goes, and I still like manning the jungle, so I had to change up my deck a little bit. I actually found a better way to play it in the new V44.6 I think it is. So I'm going to just show y'all what I have set up pretty much. A lot of it is still the same. It's not that far off from what it previously was, but there is some additional cards, like some cards I didn't have before, such as Trapper. I didn't used to have Trapper back when I made the other two versions. And there's some cards that I got rid of because I found that I didn't use them. So for starters, the first thing I always pick is a Vitality, and I go in and make my jungle rotation with just Living Guardian. I do 3 jungle camps, green buff, black buff on the left side, the hour black buff, and then I get the river buff on the left side. And usually I'll keep farming until I get to level 5, which is, I'm at level 4 by the time I get to the river buff. So I get to level 5 and then I back, and then I have enough points into agility where I can get Demolitionist and Living Guardian, and I can usually get Mother Tree by that point. And I'll go back out, do my rotations, and the whole point of getting Demolitionist is so I can kill the minions faster. And the point of giving Living Guardian at first instead of Demolitionist is that if I get Living Guardian, I get that one green Vitality point. I get Jungle Lifesteal, which lets me get more health as I hit the jungle minions, and I have that stack of basic armor, which stacks up to 10 times, and if you're constantly hitting the jungle minion, you don't lose the stack. So it really helps me just not die and make that full rotation at the very start of the game. Get a good start for the whole game, get you set up real good. And the whole point I get the Mother Tree is I just get more health regen, and I get to use my abilities more often with the mana regen, and it increases the max mana overall. So that's nice. Of course, with any jungle deck you can have Flame of Zetchin in here. Zetchin, whatever. I usually get it, that's probably like my 4th or 5th card I get, depending on whether I get Tyrant first or Flame of Zetchin. But I mean, by the time you get however many, I think it's 6, once you spend 6 points, because it increases by 500 every time you buy a point, you can get this for free, and I always put it on my square because it's easier for me to reach. Now, by mid-game I have Flame of Zetchin, Mother Tree, and Tyrant. Those are my 3 mid-game cards. Sometimes I'll get rid of Mother Tree and I'll put Thunder Cleaver in, and that's usually what my mid-game is. Early game is these 3. Then mid-game I have Flame, Tyrant, and Thunder Cleaver or Mother Tree. And I roll with that for a good bit of the game without backing, because as with my jungle strategy I don't have to back as often, and when I do back it's usually because I died. But once I get enough points, at first I get all the way up to my 2nd gem in Vitality, which is my last gem I have, the 7th slot. And once I get all the way up to that 7th slot in the Vitality, I just start pouring everything into Agility. And I put all that into Agility so I can get these late game cards such as Heavy Hitter, Trapper, Death Crawler, and one of the Tribe. And my end game is where it varies a little bit, so I have so many cards right here, and like I knew exactly what I have for mid game down here, but up here it gets kind of different, because sometimes I'll use Heavy Hitter and keep Tyrant and Flame and put Heavy Hitter, Tyrant, Flame, or sometimes I'll even get rid of Flame of Zetchin because later in the game I don't need it, because I can just do so much damage anyway. It's kind of redundant to have it. Like at that point I'll have it stacked all the way up to like 2,000, and that's a lot of damage for a card, but I can still do it all with just attacking, and it's not really efficient that way. So sometimes I'll drop Flame and I'll have Heavy Hitter, Tyrant, and Trapper, or sometimes I'll even drop Tyrant because I know I'm about to get Death Crawler or Heavy Hitter, or even one of the Tribe. Some of you might be wondering why I have Trapper on here. The reason I have Trapper is because as a jungler you get a lot of ganking opportunities, and if you have Trapper you can gank, and then once you get the gank they can't escape as easily, especially if you get stacked all the way up to 10 times to get the root. And you get that root, and especially as Serath, I mean, even if they do get away a little bit, use your I don't know what ability it is, but the one you fly and you jump forward a whole lot, you can use that. And you also have your slowing ability, which is your L2. So, I mean, with Trapper, you pretty much giving Serath a good bit of crowd control, really, for those ganking opportunities. The reason I have Deathcrawler in here is because I like pretty much always have Deathcrawler in my late game because it just does so much damage. Having a 200% bonus damage every 5 seconds. I mean, sure, your attack speed is reduced by 30, but I mean, Serath, you don't really need that much attack speed if you're just hitting that hard, especially with Trapper, because you don't need to be hit that often. And sometimes I'll use Heavy Hitter. I don't use it as often anymore because I have Trapper in here and I usually roll with it. I have Unstable Cyborg in here, just to give that extra ability damage if you're getting ganged up on a lot. You have that card there. It's every half a second, so, and it's 20% chance, but it's every half second, so it's quite often. I have one of the tribe here towards the end where we're all at the enemy inhibitors and the core. We're all around each other, so a whole lot of power there. And a questionable card I have in here is Battle Shepherd. And the reason I put that in here is because on most of my other decks, I usually have Order, which I use Flag Bearer. And this is kind of like Flag Bearer, except it just doesn't help. It's not as good, but it still helps because as a jungler, you're in the jungle, you don't get killed as often. The rest of your teams get killed. You have like you and maybe 2 other people. You have to have a global presence across the whole map to contain, to wait for your team to respawn, right? So if I have Battle Shepherd here, it'll be free by the time I get to end game and it gets that serious. And I can go push a lane by myself with a bunch of minions because I have this aura to help with split pushing. So it'll help me a lot. It helps the team. I feel like I can do more than just being the jungle. Actually help with lanes. And that's pretty much the gist of the whole deck as far as cards go. Now the gems. Now as far as the gems go, I have, of course I told you I have all the way up to my 7th gem in Vitality, and Agility have slot 25 filled because that's the one I put the most points in. But at the beginning of the game I put in 1 point into Vitality, give me jungle lifesteal, and that gives you 5 health every time you hit a jungle minion. And then in Agility I put a jungle assassin at the bottom, and you put 1 point into that. And then you have the 7 bonus damage and you get the lifesteal. And then after I put the 1 point in Agility, I just fill all the way up to slot 7 in my Vitality for damage reduction, which reduces the basic damage taking by 10%. I've played around with putting Armored in here and damage reduction. They both seem to work pretty fine. There's no big deal between the difference. There's no big difference between them. I guess this just always helps. And Armored is only if I'm out of combat, which as a jungler I am out of combat a good bit. But after I get to that slot 7 in my Vitality, I go to Agility, and then I have, I go all the way up to Fast Travel. And Fast Travel I just have here just to help me moving around, have a global presence on the map pretty much. Gives you that 10% move speed while out of combat, and as a jungler, of course, I'm out of combat. Especially when I'm trying to cross the map, I'll follow the river, not running into any enemies or minions, so it gives you that move speed. Up here in slot 13 I have Lifesteal, which just gives me additional 10% lifesteal on top of the jungle lifesteal that I already have. So it gives me more sustain, helps me stay out there longer. And then I skip the the 4th slot, and I go straight to slot 25. And I have critical hits. Gives you a 50% chance to do 75% bonus damage on my basic attacks. And the one I have gives me 2.2 health regen and 35 max mana. So just doing more damage, being a little bit more tankier, it's nice. So yeah, that's Welcome to the Jungle version 3 for Serath jungle deck. Best jungle deck. Hardly ever lose as far as jungling. Sure, the team may lose, but I've never really had a bad game with Serath in this deck. We have lost, but I've usually been like way up there as far as leveling, been ahead of the game on the other team, gotten a lot of kills a lot of the times, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.